think about 2 years ago, when we decided that we were going to bring up some of the young players that other clubs had tried to get from us by offering us a veteran who maybe was over the hill or maybe had a year or two left. These are the kids that we stuck with, decided we were not going to do this kind of thing, trade them off. And in Boston, the opening day, we had 6 on the field who were products of the Brewer farm system. So I think this has really been the key. And then, of course, you can't discount getting players like George Scott, Don Money, and John Briggs, John Briggs, I think, is going to have the best year that he has ever had in the big league. And then the addition of Henry Aaron. So all of these things, of course, the addition of Henry Aaron certainly is going to be a tremendous thing here today when he takes the field, when he goes up to hit. Most of them here, that's probably who they want to see. But it goes further than that. I think that really it's the whole ball club that is exciting all of these people. It's going to continue to do so because we do have an exciting ball club, a ball club that can run, that can throw, that can field, and that can score some runs. Our pitching staff, because of some of these things, is going to be an awful lot better than people give them credit for. So this is the beginning of an exciting home season, and we've already got the season underway, and it's just going to be a great day from a lot of standpoints, and I'm sure looking forward to it.
All right, Skipper Del Crandall. Pre-game ceremony is being concluded here now at County Stadium, and Merle Harmon with Del Crandall inviting us to stay tuned to the broadcast of today's game between the Brewers and the Indians on the Brewer Baseball Radio Network.
When you're the manager of a baseball team, you've got your own special set of problems, like having 30 to 40 players and coaches from as many different towns who have all kinds of needs and interests. It can really be a challenge to help them find what they're looking for in a city as big as Milwaukee or the other big cities that we travel to in the American League. One thing that can be a big help to our people is for them to get acquainted with the Yellow Pages. The Yellow Pages list addresses, phone numbers, hours, and special services offered by all kinds of businesses all over town. So if someone on the team is looking for a car dealer or a drive-in movie theater, a restaurant, or whatever, they can find one and fast in the Yellow Pages. The Yellow Pages can make your life easier, too, because if you want to become really familiar with a city, the Yellow Pages are a great place to start. And they'll save you time, energy, and gas by eliminating wasted trips. So use your Yellow Pages often and let your fingers do the walking. It's a nap.
The Del Crandall Show, the Brewer manager's eye view of baseball. The Del Crandall Show has been brought to you by the Yellow Pages. Let your fingers do the walking. It's a snap.
If there's a bulb snatcher in your house, you probably know it. After all, light bulbs don't move from room to room or disappear entirely without help. True Value hardware stores have a way to help you beat the bulb snatcher. They carry a wide selection of long-lasting General Electric light bulbs, and they're priced so you can keep extras on hand to discourage borrowing when a bulb does burn out. You'll find frosted bulbs, for instance, in popular 60, 75, and 100-watt sizes, and soft white plus bulbs. They last twice as long as the standard soft white. True Value hardware stores have decorative bulbs, too, in all shapes and all sizes, and those hard-to-find appliance bulbs, as well as fluorescent tubes for efficient, economical lighting in workshop or laundry room. Stock up on GE bulbs for your home and put the bulb snatcher out of business. You'll find a full line of long-lasting General Electric light bulbs at the participating True Value hardware store. There's a True Value hardware store right near where you live. Stop in and see them today.
Baseball 75 on WTMJ Milwaukee is brought to you by Schlitz. Life's too short to settle for less, so go for the gusto, or don't go at all. Schlitz. And by the Mott Paint Company and your Mott Paint dealer. Quality paint for over 50 years and a leader in research and development of paint products for residential, agricultural, and industrial uses. Mott Paint. and by First Federal Savings of Wisconsin. Join the family of savers at First Federal Savings of Wisconsin. It's a good, safe feeling.
Bob Uecker with you at County Stadium in Milwaukee. It's opening day, 1975. A full house on hand to watch the Brewers play the Cleveland Indians. The pregame ceremonies have just been concluded, and needless to say, the loudest ovation of all went to Henry Aaron when this crowd of 50,000 stood and sang "Welcome Home, Henry" to the tune of "Hello, Dolly," or "Hello, Henry," if you will. And so it is Welcome Home Henry Day, and welcome home to the Milwaukee Brewers, an exciting young team that figures to really cause a stir in the Eastern Division of the American League this year. The sun is out. It's turned out to be a fine day for an opener, and we hope that you're ready to sit back and enjoy it with us. Your announcers are retained by WTMJ Incorporated with the approval of the Milwaukee Brewer Baseball Club. Billy Champion, who will work today for the Brewers, is warming up on the first base side. And Jim Perry, who will throw for the Indians, is getting ready down to the third base side. We'll have the starting lineups to the batting orders for you when we come back in 1 minute on the Brewer Baseball Radio Network.
Say, how would you like to give that drab room a bright, totally new look? It's fun and easy with Mutt's 100 rubber satin interior latex. And a little help from your friends at your nearby Mutt's paint store. With Mutt's rubber satin, painting's almost a pleasure. It goes on smooth and easy. And there's no painty odor. And it dries in about 30 minutes. Cleans up with soap and water. You know what that means? It means that you could paint the living room some Saturday afternoon and still have a party that night. So how about a new room this Saturday? It's fun to paint more color in your life with Mott's Rubber Satin from your local Mott's paint dealer. For professional advice, see your local Mott's dealer. And be sure to get your free Milwaukee Brewer bumper sticker and 1975 Brewer schedule at participating dealers.
We're about 2 or 3 minutes away from the start of the game, and the tension is really building here as the fans get ready to look at their 1975 Brewers for the first time at home in person. And the lineups are being introduced now to the fans in the field as each man takes his position. And you talk about being keyed up. Opening day is important to all of us. And you really feel it. And a guy who has gone through so many of these things, and you're going to hear a roar. Here's Henry Aaron standing here. A guy who has to experience the same kind of thrill that Aaron has experienced over the years is his former teammate and my teammate. All right, Merle, thank you very much, and hello again, everybody. Boy, what a thrill today, huh? Oh, unbelievable. Greatest crowd ever here at County Stadium. And the reception not only for Henry Aaron, but as Merle said, this 1975 Brewer baseball team. The starting lineup first for the Cleveland Indians. Leading off for Cleveland, the left fielder Oscar Gamble. Frank Robinson will be the designated hitter batting second. In center field, George Hendrick will hit third. The right fielder, Charlie Spikes, will bat cleanup. John Boog Powell will be the first baseman hitting fifth. John Ellis will do the catching, batting in the number 6 spot. Buddy Bell will be the third baseman, hitting seventh. Jack Brohammer, the second baseman, will bat ninth. And at shortstop, Ed Crosby, hitting in the number 9 spot. Right-hander Jim Perry is on for Cleveland today. In 1974, Jim Perry won 17 while losing 12 and had an earned run average of 2.96. Last year against Milwaukee, Jim Perry won 3 while losing 2, and lifetime against the Brewers has won 13 while losing 7. For the Milwaukee Brewers, Bob Coluccio will lead it off and be in center field. Johnny Briggs, the left fielder, will bat in the number 2 spot. Hank Aaron, the designated hitter, will bat third. At first base, George Scott batting cleanup. John Money, the third baseman, will bat fifth. Gerald Porter will catch today, hitting sixth. The right fielder, Sixto Lascano, will bat in the number 7 spot. Pete Garcia will be at second base, hitting eighth. And 19-year-old Robin Yount will be the shortstop, batting in the number 9 spot. Right-hander Billy Champion starts the home opener today for Milwaukee. Last year, Champion won 11 while losing 4. He was the Brewers' best percentage pitcher, winning-wise. His earned run average last year is 3.62. Champion came off a fine spring. He won 2 while losing none during the Cactus League exhibition season. His last time out was on April 6th against the Chicago Cubs. He went 7 innings in that ball game. A ball game the Brewers won by a score of 12-6. Champion faced the Indians once in the Cactus League season. On March 23rd, he allowed just 1 run in that ball game on 3 hits, while going 4 innings. In 1974 against Cleveland, Champion did not win a ball game while losing 1 with an earned run average of 2.91 in 21 2/3 innings pitched. The loss came on August 4th. He was beaten by a score of 4-3. A lifetime champion has yet to beat Cleveland. He has won none while losing 3. In the 2 remaining ball games, tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, it's going to be Jim Slayton, who launched the opener in Boston. He'll be going against left-hander Fritz Peterson. And then on Sunday afternoon, in the windup of this 3-game series, it'll be Pete Broberg, who got the Brewer win in the second game in Boston, and he will be on against right-hander Gaylord Perry for Cleveland. The Brewers have split their first 2 ball games, and it's the second consecutive year that it has happened. Last year they were beaten by the Red Sox in the opener, came back to take the second ball game. And opening here at County Stadium today, we got a break on the weather. It's cool but comfortable. And this is what we were looking forward to else, and I would say around the 10th of March. We left to go to Arizona. A long time out there, but even opening on the road is a great show to open on the road again, but coming back here and I don't know, when you come back home, it's a whole different story, Merle. That opening on the road is great, but over here, something else.
It really is, Bob, because with the tremendous excitement that the fans here in Milwaukee can generate for a team, you go on the road and you hear a lot of noise, but normally you only hear it when the opposition's doing something. And like so many players around the American League have told us, there is nothing any louder or nothing more enthusiastic than a group of Brewer fans when they get behind their ball club, when they're either trying to get a rally started or a rally is already underway. And speaking of enthusiasm, there's so much enthusiasm outside the stadium as the fans are still coming in that the Brewers are going to hold up the start of the game for another 5 minutes or so to try to enable as many to get in as possibly can. As you know, the upper deck in right field has been completed, is all finished, and that section is now full. The new lower deck in left field is still under construction. However, they were able to put in some 2,000 or so folding chairs, which are to be used this afternoon and in subsequent games where they are needed. When the lower and upper deck in left field have been completed, the Brewers will have a seating capacity of around 56,000. And if this crowd today is any indication of what we can look for in the future, and I think certainly this team could very well warrant that kind of support on many occasions, we're going to need all the seats here at County Stadium. But Bob, you know, you look around this ballpark, and I know that you recall so much of your
baseball life, the history of it being written here, and I'm not no put on now. I mean, you really have seen some exciting things here happen over the years. In the great days gone by with your old teammate Henry Aaron and so many of the other fine ball players who played with the Braves over the years. And I think there certainly is something to be remembered about those fellows who played with the Braves. Del Crandall mentioned on his pregame show that it's a whole new era. This today is a Brewer crowd, and yet it is a crowd that has been appreciative of the baseball history and part of the baseball nostalgia that guys like Eddie Matthews and Adcock and Spahn and Burdette and Aaron and Jeff and Bob Uecker created right here at County Stadium. And I think we really got evidence that this is a Brewer town, Bob. 2 years ago, when the Atlanta Braves came here, and some 38,000 were out here to welcome Henry back still again, as they had done each year. And when he came to the plate, the roar was deafening. And yet, when he was all through, in other words, when he walked away, it became a very definite Brewer crowd and was just so pro-Brewers, unbelievable. In fact, I was visiting with some of the fans downstairs who said, hey, this team, this young Brewer team, is really something. If we like baseball, and we do like baseball, what have we been staying away for? This is what we want to see. And as you all recall, the attendance shot up to over 1 million. And boy, what a start we were off to today with 50,000 right off the bat. We've got a big day coming tomorrow with Senior Citizens Day and Kids Day, and then Sunday with Cat Day. And I really don't see any reason why this ballpark shouldn't be filled again on Sunday afternoon when the Brewers play the Indians in the final game of this short homestand, and all the kids 14 and under get their baseball caps. So it's quite a start, believe me, and it's a real thrill. You can't be in baseball too long to be thrilled at something like this, Bob.
No, that's I'll never forget my first ball game coming back here, Merle, being born and raised in Milwaukee, and what a thrill it was for me to walk on the field here at County Stadium, of course, in your hometown. Maybe a little greater thrill for me, but I know it is for each one of the players. As I said before, that the opener on the road, it's great. I mean, it really gets your adrenaline flowing, but not like it does when you come home. And the enthusiasm this morning during batting practice in the clubhouse, everything, it's just at a fever pitch, of course. And you look for a big ball game, you look for a winning ball game, of course, but be no matter, whatever will be, it's still unbelievable. And of course, here on Henry Aaron Day, to welcome Hank back, and I'm sure a lot of the people here in the fans in the stands today are the people that saw Hank in his first ball game here at County Stadium, and a lot of the youngsters in attendance today are seeing Henry for the first time. The umpires for today's ball game, Art France will call balls and strikes. Jerry Newdecker will be the third base umpire. Larry McCoy will call him at second base, and Nick Brilligan will be the first base umpire. You know, another thing, Merle, when the Cleveland Indians were introduced on the field and manager Frank Robinson came out of the field, here also, and I think we overlooked the fact that Robbie, one of the all-time power hitters, one of the all-time great hitters in baseball, and a standing ovation that Frank Robinson received here today, I'm sure had to touch Robbie a little bit, too, because the fans stood on their feet for about 3 minutes to give him a standing ovation, which he so richly deserves. His first year as a manager, taking over a ball club that has a lot of potential, Merle, and if anybody knows Frank Robinson, the kind of guy he is, he's fiery, and he can be tough if he has to be. He doesn't like to run that kind of a ball club, he said, but if it gets to the point where he really has to be tough, he's not afraid to duke with you a little bit, and I think that's one of the things that's going to be a great asset to Frank Robinson. And as I said, I know he had to feel good today, standing out there by himself, because they didn't call anybody for about 3 minutes. And to see Robbie standing out there by himself, he had some great days here. He had some great days against our club here in Milwaukee, I know that. So it's got to be a thrill, too, for Frank Robinson.
You know, Bob, going back to what some of the other players have said about Milwaukee and the tremendous enthusiasm the fans show to the Brewers here, and yet the respect and admiration they show for the opposition when the opposition has made a good play, or when a man of the stature of Frank Robinson is introduced or performs or whatever. And this is something else they comment on, and fans, give yourselves a pat on the back for this. that you do recognize good baseball and quality play and great moments in the game. And you do recognize the opposition. You cheer so loud for your home team, and yet you're just great fans. So pat yourselves on the back. No bleacher bums in this crowd. We've got the Brew Crew out there. And boy, do we have the Brew Crew today. And they're already started with the True Blue Brew Crew banner out there. Stand up, gang, and take a bow out there. Boy, the bleachers, that's where it all happens anyway. But they really take care of their own. No problems out there. Just a lot of fun and excitement all over this ballpark. All right, Billy Champion has taken the mound. Finishing his warm-up pitches, Porter's throw goes to second, and we are ready to get the 75 home season underway. Oscar Gamble will lead off for the Indians. The Indians have played one game at home. They won it opening day, and Frank Robinson, who will hit second in the lineup this afternoon, hit a home run in his debut as manager and DH for the Indians. So it'll be Gamble, Robinson, and Hendrick leading off against Billy Champion. Champion had the best percentage of any Brewer pitcher won and loss-wise last year. He was 11-4 for the season. And Billy had a good spring. He worked in 6 ball games, won 2 and lost none. Pitched 29 innings. The one thing, Bob, I think we watched about Billy Champion in spring training, the walks. He only had 9 walks in spring training. And so here he is, into the windup in the first pitch of the ball game. Struck one around the way. Ball in there at the knee. Gamble hitting at 200 after one game. The outfield to the right for it. Billy Champion kicks. Here's the next pitch to Gamble. Fastball is high. 1-1 to count. The defensive alignment. Money at third. Yount at short. Garcia at second and Scott at first. Briggs in left field. Coluccio in center and Lozcano in right. Behind the plate is Darrell Porter. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Gamble. Struck 2 with fastball to the knee. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dave Garcia is coaching at third, and Tom McCraw at first for the Indians. The outfield to the right for this guy who can pull the ball. Here's a 1-2 delivery on the way. Took something off and it's top foul. Out of play off to the left on the net. Down to still 1-2. Oscar Gamble came out of the Philly organization. He's done a little traveling, but he has kind of become a fixture with the Indians. Here's a 1-2 pitch to him. A ground ball goes foul outside of third. Gamble in his third year with the Indians. Last year, hit 10 homers, knocked in 64 runs. He had been in a Cub chain at one time. The last time he saw Barber was about 3 years ago, I think. Here's a 1-2 pitch on the way, and it's cut on top to the mound. Fielded by Champion. Toss to first base, and Gamble is out. 1 down in the first inning. That'll bring up Frank Robinson. Oscar Gamble has got the greatest afro you have ever seen in your life. He's a fun guy, though. People needle him. He laughs. He's okay. Put him on our club along with Herb Watson. Bob and I have our own little sideline ball club. You have all kinds of clubs. Have the all-flake club. Here's Frank Robinson. Taking the ball down low, and it's 1-0. Frank with a home run in the opening day. Hitting .333, 1 out of 3. The outfield around to the left. Robinson standing up close to the plate. Champion works and delivers a fastball low, and it's 2-0. Oh, yeah, there are all kinds of ball clubs that guys make up, when you're flying around the country. Robinson with that left foot up on the inside edge of the batter's box, right on the line. Hits a high fly ball to left center. Coluccio calling, no trouble. Bobby is under the ball and takes it for out number 2. Next, George Hendrick. Hendrick went hitless in the Indian opener against New York. He, too, had a fine season for the Indians last year. He hit 19 homers, knocked in 67 runs, batting at .279. As a closed stance, the right foot is way back in the corner of the batter's box. Left foot up close. Here's a breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. This guy's got a quick bat. He's about 6'3". Holds the bat right down to the knob. Hendrick came out of the Oakland A's organization. The windup and the pitch by Champion. A swing and a fly ball to the infield. George Stott getting into his foul territory. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Billy Champion. Hendrick is fouled at first. With nothing across the score at the end of a half inning, Cleveland nothing, and the Brewers come to bat.
Celebrate today. Celebrate the flowers and the fields and the tombstones on the way. Let's all get together. Let's all have some fun. Family, friends, and neighbors, there'll be some wherever people share a good time together. Rock together, rise and rock together.
We're going to the bottom of the first inning now. Out of the mound, Jim Perry has finished his warm-up pitches. He's all set to go. 38-year-old right-hander out of Williamston, North Carolina, now lives in Edina, Minnesota. He'll be leading off against Bob Coluccio, then Johnny Briggs, and Henry Aaron. The defensive alignment for the Indians: Gamble in left, Hendrick in center, and Spikes in right. Bell at third, Crosby at short, Brohammer at second, and Powell at first. John Ellis is catching. And Jim Perry, who with his brother Gaylord forms one of the best brother pitching combinations of all time, is out there for Cleveland, ready to go. Coluccio batting 143, had an RBI in the Boston series. Jim Perry winding, in comes the pitch. Blowing outside the ball. Harvey Keene is coaching at first base for the Brewers, and Joe Nostick is over at third. Perry rocks into the motion, in comes the pitch. Look at a bouncing ball to the shortstop. Fielded by Ed Crosby, and on to first base he goes to foul for the out. One down. Next, Johnny Briggs, hitting at 250. Ritchie had a real good spring. He knocked in 14 runs in Arizona. One of the most underrated ball players in the business. Del Sando feels that John's going to have an outstanding year. Had a few nagging injuries the last two seasons, but came out of spring training very healthy this year. The windup by Jim Perry. Here's the pitch. Outside with a fastball. 1-0 the count. The Yankees lead Detroit 3-2 in the first inning at New York. In the Yankees home opener at Shea Stadium. Perry with the 1-0 pitch. Here it is. Swung on, fouled, out of play on the third base side. Back into the stands, and somebody has the souvenir. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Mets in Pittsburgh are underway. At Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. Mets 1, Pittsburgh nothing in the fourth. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the target is set by Ellis. Perry with a 1-1 pitch way outside the ball. 2-1 the count. Montreal slated at Chicago today in the National League. And Boston at Baltimore. All afternoon stuff. Here's the 2-1 offering to Briggs. John takes it high. Ball 3. 3-1. Henry Aaron is in the on-deck circle. 3 balls and a strike. Here comes the next pitch, and it's strike 2 call. Ritchie thought the pitch was a little bit outside. It's a full count to the Brewer left fielder. With the new left field extension, the lower grandstand having been completed structurally, 315 feet down the line. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking stuff, and he got Briggs, and there are 2 down, and here comes Aaron. Here's Henry Aaron. As Stan standing ovation for Henry Aaron in his first plate appearance as a Brewer. 50,000 on their feet. Here's the windup and the pitch. Ball went outside versus one of those guys. Bob, if he can get a base hit, he'll have pandemonium. Yeah, we might have to leave here today. 1 ball and no strikes. Perry catches the pitch. Swung a bouncing ball foul on the third base side of the dugout. And the count goes to 1-1. You know, Henry said yesterday at the luncheon, he said, I was playing in the major leagues before Robin Yount was born. You'd think that a guy had experienced all the thrills that a guy could experience with a record like his. There's the 1-1 pitch. Swung and a miss. Off-speed stuff, 1 and 2. And yet, if you ask him after the ball game, I'll bet you he will tell you this is one of the greatest thrills of his life. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Perry works. Here's the pitch and the top side. Start arm breaking stuff. And Perry can really bend that ball. No score last half of the first inning at County Stadium. Perry works the PP pitch. Swung on a pop-up outside of third. Foul territory. Bell going over. Dives and he can't hold the ball. Got his glove on it, but he couldn't hold it. Bell really took a tumble hitting that warning shot, but he's okay. So Aaron's still alive with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I see, in the last 3 ball games, they're throwing Henry a lot of off-speed stuff now, and his timing is really not there. But I guarantee you, these guys are going to make a mistake on him in about another week or so. They keep with the change-up stuff, the off-speed stuff. He's going to get you timed and he's going to hurt you. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ellis checks the target. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Foul of the play upstairs. Still 2-2. You know, he told you the other day, Bob, that there wasn't a pitcher in the National League that could throw him anything that would surprise him. No, he knew them that well. That's right. And so it takes time to learn the pitchers in the American League. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Ball went outside. 3-2 full shot. And whether his timing is here or not in this early part of the season, the pitchers, like in Boston, showed so much respect for him that, well, you hit 1 walk in Boston. Scott comes up with the bases loaded and knocks in 2 runs. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on, pops up behind the plate, coming back to the screen. Ellis off for the mask, and the ball is on the net. Aaron is getting his cut. It's not velocity, anything really hard that bothers him, Merle. He doesn't care how hard a pitcher throws, but a guy like Terry here, Jim Terry, has got the good off-speed stuff. He's got a good changeup. He throws a lot of breaking balls to the right-handed batters, more sliders than anything else. And for Henry and he's hit against Jim Perry many, many times, but not over the last couple of years. So it's all new to Henry again, too. Now Perry will try again on the 3-2, and Aaron pops it up top this way. Ball's going to hit the net. 3 balls, 2 strikes. A guy like Terry, Merle, that has such good command of his off-speed stuff, is not afraid to throw Henry, a change-up, anything breaking on a 3-2 pitch as he did right there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ellis with a target. Perry's payoff pitch on the way. Outside he walks in. And that'll bring up the mover. Well, again, we refer to the tremendous respect that the pitchers have for him and what that respect means to his batting order. I mean, what do? Do you pitch so carefully to Aaron that you lose him, thinking you're getting a break by pitching to Scott? No way. Well, I think they make a mistake. Well, I really do. You start pitching Henry that carefully with Scott and money coming next, it's got to get you in trouble sooner or later. From over, hitting .286 for the first 2 games with 2 runs batted in. Perry off the stretch to look at the pitch. Stretch ball to the outside corner and it's 0-1. Scott also had a great spring. It's .415 for the exhibition season. Perry with a gloved hand down on the left knee. Takes the sign, goes into the stretch and throws. Up high with a slider, 1-1 to count. Coming up next, Don Money, if the Boomers can keep it going. Well, George Scott certainly has contributed heavily to the Brewers since joining this ball club from Boston, particularly over the last 2 years. He's had an outstanding season. The check at first. Here's the pitch. Ball way up high. Last year, George knocked in 82 runs to lead the club, and he had 17 homers. The year before, he set a personal high in RBIs in the major leagues with 107. And he had 24 homers, batting .306. It was also the first time since, well, let's see. He did hit .303 in Boston in his third season. But the first time since then, he's been over the 300 mark. 2 balls and a strike. Perry glances over at Aaron. In comes the pitch, and it's inside. Ball 3. 3-1. No score in the last half of the first inning at County Stadium. I'll tell you how nice it is out here today. The guy sitting down here with a third base dugout with his shirt off, getting a suntan. Funniest looking blue suntan I've ever seen. The check at first. 3-1 pitch. Swung on, foul to the net. No, it's really that nice. You're out of the wind. It is really beautiful out here. And the wind that is blowing toward right field, which would be out of the north. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bruce Powell playing between the runner and the bag at first as Aaron goes to the lead, and Perry with a payoff pitch, and it's swung on. Missed strike 3. So Perry comes on to get a big strikeout, 2 of the inning. And it's no runs, no hits, and 1 left. At the end of 1 inning, the score: Cleveland nothing, Milwaukee nothing.
Go for the gusto, go for the bed. But you know life's too short to settle for less. You gotta take that bracelet gusto, and then you've got it all. Go for the gusto, or don't go at all. Go for the gusto, go for the bed. You know life's too short to settle for less. You gotta take that bracelet gusto, and then you've got it all.
Second inning coming on at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Well, let's see what's going on in the bleacher crowd today. We want more of Charlie. Big banner out there in right field. Well, we've already received a number of addresses for Brewer player fan clubs that we'll pass along to you. Robin Yount got a big banner out there in left center. Welcome back, Hank. True Blue Brew Crew. They're always out there. Big kiss. Here's Charlie Spike leading off in the Cleveland second. A windup on Billy Champion. Here comes a pitch, and it's drilled down the right field line into the corner, but foul. Striking off the foot away from the foul line. Strike 1 to Charlie Spike for the opener against the Yankees. I think it was really nice to let the guys out of the past ball school to come to the game today. Yeah, well, if you get a ticket, you can come. I don't care what school you go to. If you show a ticket, you can. Mine's no different than anybody else. They've been told to drop all foul balls, so don't try to show up to school, right? Charlie Spike waits. Champion pitch. Change up down low, and it's 1-1. Spike's the next Yankee. This guy took off about 20 pounds a year ago. He's still about 215 or 220. Takes the ball high and tight. 2-1 the count. Charlie Spike, the winner's number 24. Nobody on or out. Cleveland second, no score. Now time is called as Spike steps away. The target goes up by Porter. Here comes the pitch. Inside, ball 3. Charlie is from Bogalusa, Louisiana. He's 6'3" at about 220 right now. Weigh about 235, 240. Now they're going to overshift, putting 3 infielders on the left field side. 3-1 pitch is low for ball 4. The Indians have their first base runner. So Spike's to first, and that'll bring up Bruce Powell. Well, John had a pretty good opening day. hit a home run, knocked in 2 runs, went 3 for 3. It's going to seem strange to go into Baltimore and not see Boog Powell, however. George Scott moves in to play the inside of the bag against Pike. The outfield to the right for Powell. Champion at the belt. In comes the pitch. Boog takes it high, ball 1. Powell joined the Indians right before spring training. One of the first deals that Frank Robinson helped engineer. They were teammates for the Orioles, of course. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 2. Go on, Billy. 2 balls and no strikes. In New York, 3-2 Yankees in the 4th inning. Over Detroit. The target, the pitch, and Powell hits it on the ground. The Scott at first has it, going to second. Force out there. Yount relays to first. Double play. Double. George Scott snapping a throw to Yount. And Champion got to first base to cover, and they got Powell. 3-6-1. That'll bring up John Ellis, the catcher. 2 out of 3 in the opening game against the Yankees. No homers or RBIs. 2 down, nobody on. Champion working on Ellis. And he takes the ball low. 1-0. Ellis hammered 19 home runs for the Indians last year, knocking in 59 runs. His 1-0 pitch. Strike. Fastball to the knees. He hit 39 homers in 2 years for the Indians. Was with New York for 4 seasons. Pitch is hit foul down the left field line by Coach Dave Garcia. 6 innings in Pittsburgh. The Mets 2 and the Pirates nothing. The Cubs in Montreal are underway. No score after 1. After 2 in Baltimore. Boston 2, Baltimore nothing. The outfield to the left for Ellis. Strong right-handed batter with a closed stance. In comes the pitch. Hit on the ground, deep short, but cut off by Money. In the hole, going to first base to Scott. 1, 2, 3 is the third down. Spike wiped out the double play. And Ellis grounding 5-3. Nothing across at the end of an inning and a half now. The score, Cleveland nothing and Milwaukee nothing.
You know that feeling of satisfaction you get when you really worked hard toward a goal and reached it? That's part of living, and a big part of the reason people save. It's also why so many Wisconsin families save at First Federal Savings of Wisconsin, the strongest and safest savings and loan in the state. They know their savings and their goals are safe, insured and protected by the largest reserves of any savings and loan in the state. Join the First Federal family of savers who know their money is growing safely through good times and bad.
Go for the gusto, go for the best. 'Cause you know life's too short to try to settle for less. You gotta take that breakfast gusto, and then you got it all. Go for the gusto, and on.
The Brewers come to bat at the bottom of the second with Don Money leading off, then Darrell Porter and Sixto Lascano. The commissioner of baseball, Mr. Bowie Kuhn, is here today, seated by the first base dugout along with American League President Lee McPhail, Brewer Board Chairman Ed Fitzgerald, and Brewer President Bud Seeley. Our host, the commissioner and the American League President. Jim Perry working. Here's the pitch to Don Money. Let's go on outside, ball 1. Station identification coming up shortly, so stay with us if you will. Ellis sets the target. Perry throws. Swung on a drive to deep left field. Going back to Campbell with a wall, and he is making the catch at the wall. Money almost had one out of here. 1 gone in the second. That'll bring up Porter, and we'll pause for station identification. You're on the Brewer Baseball Radio Network.
This is the flagship station of the Brewers, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Merle Harmon and Bob Uecker with you at County Stadium, Milwaukee. No score between the Indians and the Brewers before 50,000 or thereabouts, or maybe a little more even, at County Stadium. And Darrell Porter is up there hitting a .333 with 2 runs batted in. Jim Perry, the windup. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball to no strikes. Now the target and the pitch. He looked out. Came inside, he almost hit it. 2 balls, no strikes. County Executive John Doyle threw out the first ball. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Porter. Outside low, ball 3. Congressman Robert Caston is here today, and Lieutenant Governor Martin Schreiber. Joe Feeney sang the national anthem. 3-0 pitch to Porter, and it's a strike fastball to the inside corner. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Porter cocks the bat. In comes the pitch. Swung on, fly ball to left center field. Knocked deep. Coming hard. Henry going back to shortstop. Crosby. Ball falls. Porter is way off first. Campbell makes the pickup and throws to second. And Porter gets back. A base hit for Darrell Porter. A blue signal into left center. Darrell did a big turn, and Campbell came up and fielded that ball finally. But Darrell was able to get back to first, and that'll bring up Lascano. Sixto hitting at .286. The 21-year-old outfielder only weighs 165 pounds, but he can watch that ball. The check at first base. Here's the pitch by Perry. Strike call to the outside corner. Lascano stands 5'10". Puerto Rico. The check over at first, and the pitch. Strike to the outside corner, 1-1. Perry gives you the wrinkle. 38-year-old Jim Perry, who started in the major leagues for the Indians, then was traded to the Twins. Then went back to Cleveland to join his brother Gaylord. Here's the pitch to Lascano, hit high in the air into short right field. Going back, Brohammer, and coming in as the right fielder spikes, and he takes it. 2 down. Next, Pete Garcia, batting .167 for the 2 games in Boston. Jim Perry spent 4 years with the Indians, starting in 1959. He's an 18-game winner in 60. Then he was traded to the Twins, and he helped pitch the Twins to a pennant in 1965. Leans in to take the sign, working to Garcia. Straddles the pitching over. Garcia waits, and Perry delivers. Swing and a drive to the center of base there. Down the second, Darrell Porter taking the third and holding as Henry comes up with the ball and gets it back into the infield. Garcia has lined a single to center, and here comes the slugger, Robin Young. Hitting 667. 1 homer and 3 runs batted in. 19-year-old Robin Young. You think they don't like this kid in Milwaukee? 2 on for the Brewers in the bottom of the second. Jim Perry had a base runner in the first when he walked Aaron. Now he has 2 on the board by singles here in the second. Cleveland right-hander sets and throws. Check swing box to the mound off the bat of Young. The ball almost hit him. He was kind of swinging in self-defense on the check. And Perry throws him out first easily. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left on. At the end of 2 completes the score. Cleveland nothing, Milwaukee nothing.
By the way, I really had a great lunch the other day, Bob. Before we get into that, Merle, let me tell you about a really great breakfast with Oscar Mayer pork sausage.
But that's just what I was going to tell you about.
Just hold on, Merle, until I tell the folks about the mild and meaty flavor of Oscar Mayer pork sausage in the morning. Because nothing really tops waking up to the sizzling good taste of Oscar Mayer pork sausage tossed around with a couple of eggs for breakfast.
Except maybe Oscar Mayer pork sausage for lunch, Bob. Simmered in beer, like I had yesterday, with a slab of cheese just bubbling on top. You don't have to wait till breakfast, you know, to wake up to Oscar Mayer pork sausage. You can let it wake up lunch, dinner, or any time.
You don't say. Maybe you better do this commercial.
I will. Oscar Mayer pork sausage is made from the best meat, carefully spiced, and always fresh.
And it comes in a variety of ways, too, like regular links or roll pork sausage.
So no matter how you fix them,
Or when.
there's always a good reason to be hungry, because it's never too late for Oscar Mayer pork sausage.
Two innings have been played here at County Stadium in Milwaukee. The Indians nothing and the Brewers nothing. The Brewers had a base runner in the first and had two aboard there in the second, but Perry got out of it. And now Billy Champion is getting ready to wheel into the third inning before this big crowd on this opener. Tomorrow, 1:30 game. It'll be Senior Citizens Day and Kids Day. Both those groups getting discounts. And then Sunday, Cap Day for the youngsters 14 and under, getting a free Brewer baseball cap. Why not fill it up again on Sunday afternoon? And the Brewers go to Baltimore and Cleveland. So, top of the third coming on, and here's Bob. All right, Merle, thank you very much. Buddy Bell, the Cleveland third baseman, will lead it off here in the top half of the third. No score. Champion is yet to allow a base hit. Right-handed batting, Buddy Bell. Champion's first pitch, low and outside a fastball, 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Del Brohammer and then Ed Crosby, the shortstop here in the Cleveland third. They're about straight away for Buddy Bell. He hits the ball all over. Money deep at third. The windup by Champion in the pitch. Strike and a fastball. Count evens 1-1 to Bell. Money is very deep and about 8 feet off the line at third. Yount very deep at shortstop. Garcia back almost on the grass at second. Ground ball, shortstop, Yount, big house, easy play. Threw in the dirt and Scott picked it out. Oh, what a play by Scott. Robin Yount threw that ball in the dirt to the right field side of the bag, and Scott picked it. Well, argument down here. Buddy Bell and first base coach Tom McCraw saying that Scott didn't have the bag. Fine play by Scott. He saved an error. Here's Jack Brohammer, the second baseman. Well, these are tough days for the infielders and the outfielders. After you're out there for a little while, well, the coolness of the weather, it's kind of hard to get any feeling of the baseball when you get ready to make a throw. It's all right for the pitcher and the catcher. They're doing it all the time. Brohammer looks at a breaking ball low and inside. Very tough baseball. Boy, I tell you, it feels like a marble. After you've been standing out there for about 15, 20 minutes, blowing inside, 2-0. Did you really throw a billiard ball back to the pitcher once? I tried anything. 2-0 delivery. Ground ball, second base side, Garcia. Bobbles the ball, throw! Got him. Whoop! By a half a step, they got Brohammer after Garcia bobbled. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Ed Crosby, the shortstop. Ed Crosby has been the bat 4 times with 1 base hit, hitting a .250. Champion is yet to give up a base hit. 2 men out here in the third. The windup and the pitch to Crosby. Ground ball back toward Robin Yount. He bobbles, picks it up, and he's not going to make a play. It's going to be an error on Robin Yount. That ball was hit back through the middle. Yount had an easy play on the ball, but he bobbled it. He had time if he could have picked it up. Couldn't find the handle. And Ed Crosby is aboard on the air. Another thing about the cool weather.
That baseball glove gets the feeling like a tortilla, an undone tortilla. Gets hard like a pancake. Well, the ball's hit it. You really got to hang on with two hands unless you catch everything in the webbing. Oscar Gamble, the leadoff batter now. Crosby, a lead at first base. Champion stretches. The pitch. Gamble pops it up behind the plate. It's going to go back on the screen. Foul. Gamble, his first time up, hit one back to Billy Champion. 2 men out, Cleveland third, scoreless. Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be Jim Slayton for the Brewers. A swing and another foul back upstairs. 2 strikes to Oscar Gamble. Tomorrow, Slayton against Fritz Peterson. And then on Sunday, in the windup, it'll be Pete Robert against Gaylord Perry. Champion out front of Gamble, 2 strikes. Ed Crosby, the runner at first base, has a lead. The stretch in the pitch. Outside a sinking fastball. One ball and 2 strikes to Oscar Gamble. Left-handed batter waiting. Crosby about a 5-step lead at first on Champion. Billy sets and delivers. Runner going. Swinging a line drive left field. Going to be a base hit. Here's Crosby going to have to hold at second as Briggs fires on the money at third base. So with a hit and run on, Oscar Gamble lines a single to left field. That's the first base hit off Billy Champion. Cleveland runners now at first and second. And it brings up the designated hitter, Frank Robinson. Robbie flied to center field in the first inning. The Cleveland Indians manager, playing manager. Robinson homered in the opener in Cleveland. Billy Champion sets and checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch to Robinson. Inside fastball missing. 1-0 to Frank Robinson. Boy, what a career this guy has had. One of the outstanding hitters in baseball. One of the outstanding power hitters in baseball. The 1-0 delivery. Outside, Porter short of second in the dirt. Garcia can't grab. Robin Yount backing up. Porter threw that ball in the dirt. Garcia tried to knock it down. It got by him, but Robin Yount backing up the play. Keeps Crosby at second base. Well, that's the one thing about Porter. We told you about that earlier. One thing you like to see in a catcher, he's not afraid to throw the ball anyplace. Robinson swings and it's a fly ball to center field. Coluccio coming on. Bobby's there. He's got it. The side's retired. Second time they've gotten Robbie on the fly ball to center field. The Indians in the third, no runs. 1 hit, 1 Brewer error. And there were 2 left. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, it's still Cleveland nothing, Milwaukee nothing.
Celebrate today. Celebrate the flowers and the fields and the fruit grows all the way. Let's all get together. Let's all have some fun. Families, friends, and neighbors, there'll be some fun for everyone. Wherever people share the good times together. Walk together, brighten up the day.
The third inning. It'll be Coluccio, Briggs, and Aaron against Jim Perry. Perry got Bobby on a ground ball in the first inning. The windup, and here's the first pitch to Coluccio, backhanded by Johnny Ellis, breaking ball outside, 1-0. Jim Perry last year for Cleveland won 17 and lost 12. Leans in for the sign. Here's the 1-0 to Bobby. Strike on a breaking ball. Perry will throw 80%. I guess I'd say 75 to 80% breaking balls throughout the course of a ball game. Off-speed stuff. Got an outstanding slider. Boy, he can hit the outside on you anytime he wants. Here's the 1-1 to Coluccio. Outside missing. 2-1. Coluccio has 1 RBI on this young 1975 season. John Ellis with a sign. Perry the arm back in the 2-1 delivery. Swinging a fly ball, slicing foul back in the right field seats. Coluccio has been the bat 8 times with 1 base hit. Brewers center fielder Bobby Coluccio. Jim Perry is ready. 2-2 pitch. Low with a sinking fastball. He's run the count full now to Bob Coluccio. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tough veteran right-hander, Jim Perry. Here's the payoff delivery. Low and outside, he walked it. Leadoff hitter aboard for the Brewers in the 3rd. That's the second walk given up by Jim Perry. He walked Henry Aaron in the 1st inning. Here's Briggs. Perry got him on a strikeout in the 1st inning. Threw a high slider tight around the letters to Briggs, and he chased it. From the stretch now, Perry is ready to pitch to Briggs. Line drive, right field, base hit. Here's strike for the pickup. Coluccio digging for 3rd. Sliding straight. For Briggs. Boy, Coluccio never stops at 2nd. Perry hit the bag perfectly. Here's Henry Aaron now with a chance to put the Brewers out front. Perry walked down in the 1st inning on a 3-2 pitch. He got 2 strikes and a ball on Henry before he finally ended up walking him. Coluccio at 3rd. Briggs at first base. Still nobody out. Perry with a sign from Ellis from the stretch. Here's a pitch to Henry. Low and outside, a slider again. 1-0 to Henry Aaron. Boy, Coluccio really set sail for 3rd once he hit the bag at 2nd. And Briggs hit that ball right on the nose. It was a 1-hop liner to strike. Throw to first base, Briggs back leads. Well, right here, Aaron looking for his first base hit. The stretch. Here's a pitch to Hank. Outside, backhanded by Ellis. Perry really trying to be careful with Henry. I'll tell you, though, one thing about Jim Perry, you watch him pitch to Aaron or anybody with power, you keep the ball away from him, and then all of a sudden you'll try to slip the fastball on the inside part to you. He's not afraid to challenge it. Briggs leads at 1st, Coluccio off at 3rd. Here's a 2-0 to Hank. Ground ball deep in the hole, shortstop, backhanded by Crosby. 2nd one, relay! He beat it. Hey, Henry gets an RBI, the Brewers lead 1-0. To backhand it, and the throw to Brohammer. Forrest Briggs. Here's George Scott. Aaron, the runner at first base. It's 1-0 Milwaukee. The pitch to Scott. Swing and a foul, and he had a good cut that time. George really had a rip at a letter-high breaking ball. Perry struck him out in the 1st inning. He got Scott on a high slider. Perry has walked 2 and struck out 2. The stretch. Aaron leads at 1st. There he goes. Ground ball. 3rd base side going to go foul. Well, There's an indication of what this Brewer ball club is going to do this year, and if you don't think Henry Aaron's going to be a part of it, he just set sail on a hit-run flush. He said that earlier. He told us all spring, he said, if I feel the situation calls for it, or if I feel I can make it, I'm going to try it. Talking about stealing a base. 0-2 to Scott to pitch. Swinging a foul tip. Another high breaking ball that time from Perry, and Scott just got a piece of it. Aaron at first base. A run is in for the Brewers. They lead 1-0. Perry 0-2 to Scott to sign the target set. He delivers high and tight with a fastball. Cleveland infield with Buddy Bell at third, Crosby at shortstop, Rohammer at second, and Big Boot Powell is at first base. Johnny Ellis catching, and he sets the sign and target to Jim Perry. The 1-2 pitch. Runner going inside. Ellis is slow, sliding, and they got Aaron. There was a high, tight fastball that time. Nothing Scott could do about it. But Henry set sail for second, and Ellis threw him out. 2-6 on the scoring. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Scott. Perry now back for the windup. Here it is to the boomer. Inside again. Look out. Full house count now to George Scott. A run on 3 hits for the Brewers. 3-2 delivery. Ground ball headed towards shortstop. Crosby's got it. The long throw across, and they get Scott, and that takes care of the Brewers in the third. But they get a run. On 1 hit, no Cleveland errors, and there was nobody left. At the end of 3 full innings of play, it's now Milwaukee 1, Cleveland 0.
When you took those hard-earned dollars away, it's nice to know they're safe and sound, right? Well, now there's even more safety for your savings at First Federal, thanks to a new law that doubles the insurance provided by a federal agency to a full $40,000. But that's not all the protection you get at First Federal. Your money is also backed by the strongest reserves and assets of any savings and loan in the state. So join the family of savers at First Federal Savings of Wisconsin today, where there's safety in numbers.
Your world is changing, and the changes are new. People are changing, events are changing. The Milwaukee Journal brings it all to you. You know that you in detail, you can read it all in the Milwaukee Journal. Read it all in the Milwaukee Journal.
Fourth inning. It'll be George Hendrick, Charlie Spikes, and then Boot Powell against Philly champions. 1-0 Brewers lead here in the fourth. Tomorrow, Slayton goes against Fritz Peterson, and then on Sunday afternoon, in the final game of this 3-game set, Hendrick swings the first pitch and lines it foul back in the left field side. On Sunday afternoon, it'll be Pete Groberg, who got the Brewers win in the second game in Boston against right-hander Gaylord Perry. 0-1 to Hendrick. Champion winds and delivers. Swing and a miss. Overhand breaking ball that time, and Hendrick chased it on the outside part. 2 strikes to the Cleveland center fielder. Darrell Porter sets the sign. Champion is ready. The arm back, and the 0-2 to Hendrick is outside in the dirt. Gets away from Darrell. New York over Detroit 3-2 in the 6th inning. Lolich for Detroit against Hunter for New York. Willie Horton hit a home run in the first inning for the Tigers with 1 on. The 1-2 to George Hendrick. A pop-up behind the plate. Porter cannot make a play. Back on the screen. Boston at Baltimore. That ball game is tied at 2-2 in the 5th inning. Rick Wise for Boston against Mike Cuellar for Baltimore. In the National League, the Cubs and the Expos are tied at 1-1 in the 4th inning. New York leads Pittsburgh 2-0 after 7. Here's the 1-2 to Hendricks. Inside fastball, just missed. In that New York-Pittsburgh ball game, Unser and Kingman have homered for the Mets. That's number 2 for Kingman. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hendricks. Here's the pitch. Ground ball headed toward shortstop. Robin Yount's got it. The throw to Scott, and there's one away. Brings up the right fielder, Charlie Spike. The other run in that New York-Pittsburgh game came on a home run by Del Unser for the Mets in the 8th inning with nobody on. His first of the year. Charlie Spike's the right fielder. Champion walked him his first time up. Billy winds and delivers inside a sinking fastball. It's 1-0. Other ball games in the American League, Minnesota will be at Kansas City, Oakland at Texas, and Chicago at California. Spikes lines one to left field base hit. He got an inside fastball that time from Champion, and he lined it just past money at third to his left. Second base hit in the ball game for Cleveland, and it brings up the first baseman, Lou Powell. Powell hit into a 3-6-1 double play his first time. Powell has homered once and knocked in a pair of runs. Big left-handed batter, runner going. Porter's throw, he dropped it. Charlie Spike stole a base. Porter had a good pitch to throw on that time. It was a high fastball off the outside front of the plate. But the ball just popped out of his glove and no chance to throw. A runner in scoring position now for Cleveland. 1 ball, no strikes to Powell. Champion sets and delivers. Powell swings and misses. Good fastball from Champion up around the letters. 1-1 to Big Boo Powell. The sign from Porter. Target set inside. Here's the pitch. Inside he missed. Back foul out of there. 2-1 to Boo Powell. Runner at second base, Charlie Spikes. Billy Champion checks him at second. Here's the pitch to Boo. High with a changeup. It's 3-1. John Ellis, the catcher, is due next. Powell with the number 26 on the back of that traveling uniform. High breaking ball. He walked him. Puts runners at first and second now, and still only 1 man out. That is the second walk given up by Billy Champion. He walks Spikes back in the second inning. And now to Boo Powell here in the 4th. John Ellis, the catcher. Here's the first pitch to Ellis. He swings and fouls it away back upstairs. Ellis hit a ground ball his first time that Money threw him out on. Brewer infield playing back at double play depth. Money is very deep at third. Champion sets and delivers. A swing and a fly ball. Center field not deep. Easy play for Coluccio. Bobby's there. He's got it. And that's the second out here in the 4th inning. Now the third baseman, Buddy Bell. Things into the season. He was thrown out by the shortstop, Robin Yount, back in the second inning. Brewers lead 1-0. We're in the 4th inning. Philly champion has given up a pair of base hits. Jim Perry has allowed 3 to Milwaukee. The RBI belongs to Henry Aaron. He knocked it in with a fielder's choice. Here's the first pitch to Bell. He looks at a low breaking ball off the inside corner. Charlie Spikes is at second base. Boog Powell is at first with 2 out in the Cleveland fourth. Champion set. Here's the pitch to Bell. Swing and a miss. Good overhand curve that time from Champion. Count evens 1-1 to Bell. They play Buddy Bell in the outfield just a shade to pull. Coluccio about 2 steps on the left field side of the bag in center field. Bell swings and it's a ground ball deep in the hole at short. Knocked down by Money, and the ball is going to be fielded by Young. Spike's going to score. Don Money tried to cut that ground ball off. He went in front of Robin Yount to cut it off. The ball trickled off the webbing of his glove and past Robin Yount. Just under the outfield grass, and Charlie Spike scored easily. Robin Yount tried to throw it to plate, but there was no chance. They're going to charge Don Money with an error. An error is charged to Money. Here's a high fastball to Brohammer, 1-0. Charlie Spike scored from second, so the ball game is tied. Boog Powell at second, and Bell at first base. A ball and no strikes to Brohammer. Here's the pitch from Champion. High breaking ball. Come on, Champ. Downstairs. 2-0 now. Great crowd today at County Stadium. All-timer. Everything is jammed up. 2-0 delivery. Outside, missing. 3-0 now. Champ thought he had the outside corner. Art France is calling balls and strikes today. It's 3-0 to Jack Brohammer. Eddie Crosby, the shortstop, is due next. The 3-0 delivery. A swing and a fly ball, left field. Briggs coming on. Johnny near the line is there, and he's got it. And the side's retired. So they had Brohammer hitting 3-0, and he flies to left field. Well, the Indians tie it here in the fourth inning. They get a run on 1 hit, 1 error, and there were 2 left. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, it's now Cleveland 1 and Milwaukee 1.
Any athlete will tell you it's great to play before a cheering crowd. The applause and encouragement is deeply appreciated by every member of the team. Not long ago, the Golden Guernsey lineup made its debut before the hometown fans, sporting a brand new look. Big, bright, bold double G's. Young and old alike roared their approval, and now there are more people loyal to Golden Guernsey dairy products than ever before. Milk, butter, eggs, ice cream, sour cream, half and half, each one a league leader in the flavor, protein, and freshness competition. Putting their great products in great new packages has proved to be a winning combination for Golden Guernsey. Now they're proud to represent Wisconsin and to provide its citizens with the very finest in high natural protein dairy products. But it's really the thousands of Golden Guernsey backers who keep Golden Guernsey products #1. It's hard not to come out on top with support like that. Golden Guernsey dairy products, your ticket to enjoyment. Why not treat the crowd at your house to something good from Golden Guernsey right now? Reach for the double G's.
Brand new ball game as we start the Brewer fourth inning. Money swings at the first pitch, and it's a ground ball. The shortstop Crosby takes it out and throws on the foul, and there's 1 away. First ball hitting Don Money is thrown out by the shortstop. Brings up the Brewer catcher, Gerald Porter. Porter had a base hit his first time up. Don Money his first time up just missed a home run. Ball game tied 1-1 here in the fourth inning. Jim Perry against Philly champion. The right-hander winds and delivers, and Porter hits one right back to the mound. Nice play by Perry. Ball had a little sting on it, and Jim Perry gloved it and throws out Porter. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Wisconsin. wide to right field. Back in the second inning. Hitting .286 on this young season. Brewers figure this man to be around for a long, long time. Sixto Loscano. Carey winds and delivers. He swings and hits a ground ball. Easy play, second baseman. Jack Throwhammer throws on to foul. And an easy inning for Jim Terry. 3 up and 3 down, nothing across. At the end of 4 innings of play now from County Stadium, it's still Cleveland 1 and Milwaukee 1.
That's Lucille talking, and I'm Stevie King.
Oh, Papa Sasso, oh, Papa Sasso, but you know life's too short, too double for life. You gotta taste that first slip Sasso, then you got it all.
Time after time, the gusto comes through and slips. That gusto smoke that slips through that beer should be the best.
Go for the Sasso, I don't know at all. You gotta taste that first slip Sasso, then you got it all. Go for the Sasso, I don't know at all. Go for the Sasso.
Totals for the Cleveland Indians, 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. With Jim Terry aboard. For Milwaukee, 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 errors with champions. Ed Crosby, the shortstop, will lead it off for the Indians here in the top half of the 5th inning. And back with you once again. Here's Burrow. Here's the 1-1 to Gamble. Fastball outside, 2-1. And the Yankees are on top of Detroit, 3-2 after 4 innings. The Mets lead the Pirates 3-0 in the 9th inning. Gamble belts one down the right field line, looking foul, and into the mezzanine. After 4, Montreal won, and the Cubs won. Two balls and 2 strikes. Champion pumps, delivers to Gamble, and he flips one down behind third, and Money backs up and takes it just across the foul line, and there are 2 gone. Now Frank Robinson, the manager and DH. Tomorrow, Jim Slayton gets the call for the Brewers. Fritz Peterson is now scheduled for the Indians. Originally, it was to be Gaylord Perry tomorrow, Peterson on Sunday, but now it'll be Peterson tomorrow. Sunday, Pete Broberg against Gaylord Perry. Frank Robinson backs away from the fastball. It's 1-0. Tomorrow is Kids Day and Senior Citizens Day, the first of the year here at County Stadium. Sunday is Cap Day. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Robbie. Strike, fastball to the inside corner, 1-1. 2 down, nobody on. The outfield to the left for Frank Robinson. Bill Champion, his first start of the year, cranks up and throws. Robinson looks at the ball low. Frank needs only 25 homers now to reach the 600 plateau in his Major League career. Goes after the next pitch and misses. Ball 2 and strike 2. He is 4th on the all-time list behind Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, and Willie Mays. Willie Mays has had 660 in his career. And I don't have to tell you that Ruth had 714 and Aaron now at 733. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Manager Frank Robinson at the plate for the Indians. Champion working on a 2-2 count and delivers high ball 3. Frank broke into the Major Leagues with Cincinnati in 1956. Hit 38 home runs that season. Was Rookie of the Year in the National League. Now the payoff pitch from Champion, and he missed low with it. So Robbie is on first with a free ride. That's the 3rd walk given up by Champion. And it will bring George Hendrick to the plate.
Right-handed batting, George Hendricks. A runner on first, Frank Robinson, and Scott will play the inside of the bag against him. Billy Champion delivers. Change up hit on the ground, a bouncing ball to short. Taken by Yacht, goes to second base for the short flag on Frank Robinson and the fourth out. For the Indians, no runs, no hits, one left on. At the end of 4.5, the score. Cleveland 1, Milwaukee 1. When the postman drops around the first of every month, what do you generally get? Bill. Well, now you can look forward to money in the mail every month. Simply open a Money Every Month account at First Federal Savings of Wisconsin, and you'll receive a regular interest check the first of every month. Your principal remains untouched, insured, and protected by the largest reserves of any savings and loan in the state. Join the First Federal family of savers with a Money Every Month account. It'll guarantee you some good news the first of every month.
Go for the gusto. Go for the best. Here comes the long life show.
Why the Swiss brew gusto into every barrel, bottle, and can? Because that's the only way they know how to brew it. The best way. One taste of Slim. And you see, life's too short to settle for less. Go for the gusto. Or don't go at all.
Here's Pete Garcia leading off for the Brewers in the bottom of the fifth inning. Time to get it going, gang. Garcia to be followed by Yada and Coluccio. Jim Perry has stopped the Brewers on 3 hits. He did score first in the third, and then the Indians tied it, going on an error in the fourth. Here's the first pitch and stop side, ball 1. Well, we are privileged to have the Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin here in our booth, the Honorable Martin Schreiber. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Up high for a ball. As a baseball fan, he's smarty, though. Nice to have you aboard with us today.
Well, this is tremendous here. This is a new improvement here for the stadium and the kind of turnout we've got. The Commissioner of Baseball, the Commissioner of the American League. What a combination and what an outlook for this coming year.
There's a ball on outside. Now the count has gone to 3-0 on Garcia. You know, I think all of us experience, I don't care how long you've been around this business, and of course, all the years that you've spent in government and the many momentous things that you've sat in on. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Garcia. Strike call, 3-1. Did you have the same kind of thrill that we had today when Henry Aaron was introduced?
I've been trying to come up with a word to describe it. Breathtaking, maybe would be all-encompassing, I don't know, but it was just a marvelous kind of experience.
There's a swing and a fly ball in the center field on the 3-1 pitch, and Hendricks is there and pulls it down for the out. So Garcia slides to center, and that'll bring up Robin Yount. You know, at luncheon, they kind of got things going. I've never seen so much enthusiasm at a gathering as yesterday, and it's just carried over into today. I think it's okay, also.
Well, I think it is. And the leadership of Henry Aaron to have him come and thank the fans in Milwaukee and Wisconsin for making him as great as what he is, just proves that we've all got a stake in this. Make it.
Here is Yount, bunting in the air, and Buddy Bell makes the diving catch for the out. So Robin trying to bunt his way on. Pops up to Buddy Bell. 2 down, that'll bring up Coluccio.
It's going to be a great year. I don't know, we're not doing too well while I'm up here, Merle. Got a couple outs and just not moving along as we should.
Well, they're saving the best for last. We'll get into the late innings here pretty soon, and then this crowd will get us going.
Well, I think it will. It's going to be a great crowd and just a great year, and great job you do, and I'll be listening a lot to you as you get around Wisconsin, and good luck to you, too.
Thank you, Marty, and we want you to feel free to stop at any time when you can come in to see a ball game. Here's Coluccio swinging and missing on the first pitch for strike 1. We'll be thinking about you, too, when you're out there, because I know where your heart is, right here. Thank you. Lieutenant Governor Martin Schreiber. No balls and a strike. Jim Perry kicks, throws outside the ball. 1-1 to Coluccio. Bobby had a real good spring, and he's certainly capable of putting the Brewers back into the lead. And why not right now, Bobby? Coluccio grounded out in the first inning and walked and scored in the third. The outfield plays him around to the left. Hendricks not too deep in center. The wind is blowing toward right field. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Upstairs, ball 2, strike 1. From time to time, Bob and I have talked about Jim Perry being a guy who can pitch upstairs and get away with it. Not too many pitchers can stay high, but Over the years, he's been able to do that. 2-1 delivery. Strike call. He brought it down around the belt. It's 2-2. 2 down, nobody on. Last half of the fifth inning in a 1-1 ball game. John Ellis sets the target. Here comes the pitch. Swinging a bouncer foul off to the left of the plate. If DeLuccio can get aboard, Johnny Briggs will be up. Jim Perry, one of the big guys in the Indian plans for 1975. Locked up with Billy Champion in a pitcher's battle here on opening day. Here's the 2-2 delivery to Coluccio, and he fouls it back in a play, and the count stays the same. Two balls, 2 strikes. The Brewers have had 3 hits off Perry. The Indians have had but 2 off Champion. Sets the target. Perry with the arm back. In comes the pitch. Ball 3, it's inside. Another bad one brings up Briggs. Well, somebody's going to yank one pretty soon. Really set this crowd off. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch. Down it rides. Ball 4, it's up high. Okay. Coluccio on the first base. Second time that he has walked into Johnny B. He struck out of the first and singled to right in the third. 3 walks given up by Chip Perry, 2 to Coluccio and 1 to Henry Aaron. Moves foul, moves in to play the inside of the back of the base runner at first base, Bob Coluccio. The outfield moves slightly the other way, around to the right for Briggs. Here's the pitch, high, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Perry walked Coluccio on the third that cost him. Bobby wound up scoring. Frank Childs getting him going here. Hey, we haven't really heard this crowd cut loose today when a pitcher's in a little trouble. Got any radios down there, gang? Let's get it going. So look over the first, good lead by Coluccio. Throw to first, and he got back, and that's all he is. Ooh, very close. I think he was going. Perry has a good move. 1 ball and no strikes to Briggs. The infield around to the right. Crosby is playing fairly close to second base as a shortstop. Bobby jumping away to the lead. Perry checks him. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul back this way. Well, we checked out the new glass on the new press box up here. I believe it's okay. Incidentally, our thanks to Milwaukee County for this tremendous facility which they have provided to the media this year. Brand new press box, radio booth, television booth, the works. Really first cabin. Here's the stretch into the runner. Pitch out. Ellis throwing to second base. Bobby is going to be a dead pitcher. So the Indians stole the sign, and Coluccio has gone down at second with Crosby taking the throw. No runs, no hits, nobody left. At the end of 5 complete then. The score, Cleveland 1, Milwaukee 1.
You know, there are probably hundreds of beautiful homes in your neighborhood, and keeping them looking beautiful is what we're all about. This is Don Arthur for Mort's Paint in your nearby Mort's dealer, where you'll find every kind of paint product for your home inside and out, and all the tools you'll need to apply the paint. But paint is just part of the story. The rest is people. Your Mort's dealer feels there's more to painting than just paint. So we try to give you more. Something money can't buy. Helpful advice with color selection, choosing the right paint, proper application. So come on in. Let us help you make your home the most beautiful in the neighborhood with Mort.
Be sure to pick up your free bumper sticker and 1975 Brewers schedule now at your participating Mott dealers. Here at County Stadium, the Indians will have Charlie Spikes leading off, followed by Bruce Powell and then John Ellis. The Indians, 1 run and 2 hits on Billy Champion. Spikes walked in the second, then he singled, stole second, and scored in the fourth. Here's a ball inside low. 1 ball and no strikes. Champion kicks and throws, and a ground ball goes zipping past the mound after Garcia. Second, he fields it, throws on the shot to the out. One away. Here's Bruce Powell, who hit into a double play in the second inning and walks in the fourth. Bruce Powell, big left-handed batter coming up. Nice wire here for Bob and myself from Biff Motts and all the gang at the Motts Paint factory and office in Madison. Champion working to Powell, outside ball one. Congratulations on the opening of another exciting season. We'll be following and backing the Brewers all season long and pulling for a Brewer pennant. Thank you, Biff, and all the gang, but who's keeping the score today? Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Pumped up high behind the plate. Darrell Porter off to the mask is under it. And takes it to right number 2. Now Johnny Ellis coming up. It's grounded out, slides center. Biff and all the gang are here at the ballpark. Bob and I are going to go over to Madison and knock off that plant. Well, they're all here. Now, they're supposed to be working. That's where they're supposed to be. But nobody is working today. They're either at the ballpark or listening to the radio, I hope. Oh, it's fun to have the season underway again, isn't it? Here's John Ellis against Billy Champion. The windup and the pitch. Swing the bouncing ball past the mound. Young charging your second. Nice pick up. Porter first on it. Hey, nice going, kid. 3 up and 3 down, nothing in charge. The end of 5.5 now. The score of the Indians 1 and the Brewers 1.
Far above the Arctic Circle, wind straight off the polar ice pack claw at rugged Norwegian fjords. This is Joe Garagiola speaking for Alice Chalmers Corporation. Alice Chalmers is there, almost at the northern tip of Norway, with an Alice Chalmers process called the Great Kiln System. This system makes low-grade iron ore, once considered practically worthless, into pellets that can be used in blast furnaces and steel mills, turning them out at the rate of over 1 million tons a year. And now, a second great kiln line has recently gone into operation there to help boost ore production even higher. It's another way Alice Chalmers is helping to meet the world's need for more and more iron. The world needs more of what Alice Chalmers makes.
Well, before we go to the bottom of the 6th, 10 seconds for station identification. You're on the Brewer Baseball Radio Network. And this is WTMJ Milwaukee Radio 62, the Brewers' flagship station. Merle Harmon and Bob Uecker with you at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Johnny B is the batter. Aaron the follower, then Scott. This is the inning. Let's go get him. Jim Perry to the windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on, foul of the play upstairs, strike one. Riggs was batting when Coluccio was shot down, trying to steal in the 5th. Ellis pitched out and he nailed Bobby easily. 1-1 the score in the bottom of the 6th inning. Target goes up, in comes the pitch, swinging a foul out of play on the third base side. We're getting action now in both bullpens. Comes the 0-2 pitch to Johnny B. Way up high for the ball. 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Brewer half of the 6th inning. Jim Perry pumps and throws. Way outside again. 2-2. Boston is throwing at the Indian bullpen, the native of Kenosha. Here's the 2-2. Drive deep to right field. Way back. Close to the wall. It's going. It's going. Up the Brewers ahead. 2-1. Well, Johnny B nailed one. Hit it down the runway. And the Brewers are on top 2-1. The crowd of 50,000 stands and applaud. And here's Henry Aaron. Hankins walked, bounced into a force play and got an RBI. Well, Bernie Brewer has taken his first ride of the year. There's a drive, deep to left, hook down, and a score! Back into the stand. Oh, frustration there. Hank has one going, but he yanks the middle in quickly. One strike to down to Aaron. Ellis goes running to the mound now to talk to Perry. If that ball had stayed fair, Bernie Brewer would have been in orbit. So would 50,000 other people here. One strike to Henry. Shot to follow. Brewers 2, Cleveland 1. Bottom of the sixth. Jim Perry works. Here comes the pitch. Start on breaking stuff outside. Ball 1 and strike 1 to Aaron. The familiar number 44. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brewers 2, Indians 1. Perry's next pitch. Swinging a high foul ball on a play on the third base side. Back into the stand. 1-2. Briggs had 17 homers last year to tie Scott for honors. He's 2 out of 3 today. A home run and a single. John Ellis with a sign. Here's the 1-2 to Aaron. Swinging a drive, left field. The ball is hooking foul into the seat. Nobody on or out. Briggs has just put the Brewers ahead with a home run. Jim Perry again on the 1-2 to Aaron. Here it is. Change up, hit on the ground. Knocked off the glove and put it down. Picked up by Crosby. No play. Missed it. Henry Aaron first hit of the Brewers. A rocket shot off the glove. A funny ball. Hit the ball hard. And now the Boomer. The hammer is on and the Boomer is up. Scott struck out of the first and grounded out of the third. Let's keep it going, gang. Frank Childs getting a go Brewer go chant going. Aaron at first, the Brewers ahead 2-1. Jim Perry to the belt, glancing over at first and throws. Swinging a bouncing ball, little roll hit out towards third, fielded by Bell, underhand pick up the throw to first for the out. And there are 2 down. Down to second base on the play, Henry Aaron. Now Don Money, who is 0 for 2. That's that 1 out. 1 down. And here's Don Money. Money is flied to left and grounded out. Aaron on second. 1 gone in the Brewer half of the 6th. Jim Perry okays the sign. Here comes the pitch. Direct one call around the belt. 0-1 to count. Dick Boston staying loose in the bullpen for the Indians. The Brewers 2, the Indians 1. The Brewers have out at the Indians 5-2. Jim Perry at the belt. Straddles the pitching rubber, and Aaron scoots back towards second. The outfield to the left. Money almost hit one out of here his first time up. Here's the pitch. Swung on a fly ball to short left center. Hendrick has it measured, though. It's run out from under his cap, and he makes the catch. And there are 2 down. Here's Darrell Porter. Had a single in the second, and he grounded out in the 4th. You go up and down that Brewer batting order, any one of them can sting you from top to bottom. That middle can really be tough. They're going to walk Porter and go to Lascano. 0-1. An intentional walk for Darrell. We'll be the 4th walk given up. Well, that's all right, because Mr. Lascano coming up is 0 for 2, but I'll tell you, his credentials indicate that he'll drive in a lot of runs over the years. He's only 21 years old. Last year, hammered 34 homers at Sacramento with that 5'10", 155-pound frame. But he hits the ball to all field. You throw away from him, he'll go that way to right field. second. Lascano, the batter, wearing number 16. Stands up fairly close to the front of that batter's box. Here's the stretch and the pitch. High breaking stuff, and it's 1-0. Now time is called. Ellis is going to the mound. Well, Frank Charles getting that rhythmic applause going. It always takes a few days. I think the fans catch on to those tunes quickly. But the crowd reaction has so much to do with the ball club on the field. And certainly the Brewers have a tremendously enthusiastic fandom developed. It's up. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ball high and inside, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes to Lascano. Aaron on second. Porter on first. Briggs homered to lead off the inning to put the Brewers ahead 2-1. 2 balls, no strikes. Aaron with an infield hit. The smash off the glove of Buddy Bell. Out at second. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul on a play off the breaking stuff, and it's 2-1 to Lascano. Sixto is another product of the Brewer farm system. So 2 outfielders, 2 infielders, and the catcher. 5 of the starting 9 today are products of the Brewer farm system. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ball 3, it's upstairs. Another batsman would load him up and bring up Garcia. 3 balls and a strike to Lascano. Sixto steps away to check the third base coach, Joe Nozick. Now he's back in, and Perry goes to the stretch. Here's the pitch. Check to slider to the outside corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes, and the runners go with the next pitch with 2 down. Aaron at second, Porter at first, and the Brewers ahead 2-1. Porter moving off at first base. Aaron away from second. Perry going to the stretch, holding. Here's the payoff pitch. Swollen drive to center of base hit. Around third, he'll score. Porter is on his way to third base. The throw comes to second, and the Brewers lead 3-1. So the strategy of Brent Robinson backfires. He walked Porter to get to Lascano, who singled home the third run of the game, and Harvey Haddock, the pitching coach, is on his way to the mound. The Brewers lead it 3-1. Dick Bosman, I believe, is going to be called in now for the Indians. He started warming up when this inning got underway. The Brewers have moved out front by 2, and Harvey Haddock signals for Bosman. And Bob again. We go up and down this lineup. You know, strategy in the book calls for, with first base open, to walk the left-handed batter, but my goodness, you got a guy like Lascano coming up, or anybody else in that lineup is capable of bringing that run home. And too, about pitching from behind, you know. He got behind on Aaron before Henry hit him for the base hit. Lascano went to 3-2 on him before he hit him for a base hit. It's awful tough. And I know Jim Perry is not that kind of pitcher. He pitches from out front, but he got behind you today, and it hurt him right here when Lascano, as you said, to walk the left-handed batter and load the bases. But Lascano hit him, I believe he hit a high breaking ball up around the letters, hit that ball back up the middle. So, you said before, though, anybody can sting in this lineup. Anybody can take you downtown, too. And Perry pitched a fine ball game today, but the control got him in trouble. He's not the kind of pitcher that you're going to see throw that many bad pitches to a fellow like Sixto Lascano for all he doesn't know. If I take Jim Perry against Sixto Lascano the first time you see him, you always got to go with the pitcher. He made a bad pitch that time on Lascano. He hit for a base hit. So Dick Boswell will be the new Cleveland pitcher here. This will be Boswell's first appearance of the year. You know, it's the right-hander, Dick Boswell, last year for Cleveland. He won 7 and lost 5. He pitched 127 innings for the Indians last year. He was in 25 ball games. He gave up 126 hits, 69 runs, 58 of them were earned. He struck out 56. He walked 29 and had an earned run average of 4.11. In
other ball games in the American League, Detroit has come back to take a 5-3 lead over the New York Yankees in Catfish Hunter. Boston is leading Baltimore by a score of 2-2, and I believe in that ball game in Boston, that Boston-Baltimore game, Earl, I believe Tony Conigliaro is in his first home run of the year for the Boston Red Sox. They lead that ball game by a score of 3-2. Rick Wise is still on for the Red Sox. In the National League, Montreal and the Chicago Cubs are tied at 1-1 in the sixth inning at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Pittsburgh came back to beat the New York Mets by a score of 4-3. Atlanta and San Francisco will be getting underway shortly on the coast. Other ball games will feature Cincinnati at San Diego. Los Angeles will be at Houston, and the St. Louis Cardinals will be at Philadelphia. Nighttime action in the American League will show Minnesota at Kansas City, Oakland at Texas, and the White Sox will be at California. 3-1 Brewer lead here. In the bottom half of the sixth inning, the Brewers have scored twice to take a 3-1 lead. Dick Bosman has completed his warm-up tosses now. Brewer runners at first and third. Give it out in your face. Pete Garcia. Buddy Bell over to the mound to say something to Bosman, and here we go now. Bell is back to third. Garcia singled to center and flied to center. Henry worked 5 2/3 innings, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, walked 4, struck out 2, and he could give up 2 more runs yet. Okay, Brewers 3, Cleveland 1, bottom of the 6th. Dick Bosman at the belt. Checks the runners. In comes the pitch to Garcia. 5 for the ball to late. Steeler is a throw to second. And now they have got Machado hung up. Here's Porter making a throw. Throw to third position. Gerald Porter gets up to third with Machado right to first. Bullhammer was chasing Machado back toward first. He wheeled it through to Bell. He almost threw the ball down the left field line. And Bell made a diving stab. And Porter was able to get back there. So the double steal doesn't go. In fact, nothing goes. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Garcia. Now Signs going to the runner at first and to the plate. Dick Bosman looks down for the sign. Into the stretch he goes. Down comes the pitch. Inside the ball. 2-0. The breaking stuff hanging up. John Ellis thinking the Brewers might be up to something. Came out of that crouch in a hurry, ready to throw. Brewers lead 3-1 in the last half of the 6th inning at County Stadium. Porter down the line at third. Lascano away from first. Dick Bosman going to the stretch. The glance to runners. The arm is back. In comes the pitch. Swung a bouncing ball foul outside of third. 2 balls and a strike. Talking about the gang from Mott's being here today and the nice wire we received, which came this morning. We're very happy to have Mott's as a sponsor this year of Brewer baseball. Here's the stretch. Down comes the pitch runner first going. And the ball is dropped by John Ellis. It'll be a stolen base for Lascano. Porter holding it third. So Lascano is on second. Porter is on third, and it's 3-1 to Garcia. Two down, 2 runs across to the bottom of the 6th. Robin Yount to be next if Garcia keeps it going. Garcia has been going to right field this spring. See what kind of a pitch he can get now. The stretch by Bosman. Down comes the pitch. Thrown, a fly ball to left field. It's going to hit foul and back into the stand. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, this inning started with a home run by Johnny Briggs to put the Brewers ahead 2-1. They've gone on to score again with Henry Aaron crossing the plate. Now they have a chance to get some more. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Garcia. Bosman set, working off the stretch. The arm is back. Here's the pitch. Drive to left field down the line. Fair ball into the corner. 2 runs are scoring. Corner is home. Right behind him, Lascano. It's a double for Garcia. Pistol Pete grabs one into the corner, and the Brewers now lead 5-1.
are charged to Perry. So the book on Perry, 5 runs, 6 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. And Garcia now belongs to Bosman. 4 runs had scored here in the 6th inning for the Brewers. Pistol Pete out at second. The out who is grounded out and pops up as the batter. Bosman checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to the shortstop, Crosby makes the pickup and the throw to first. High throw, save! Here's Garcia trying to score. Throw, save! He scores! Pete Garcia never quit running. High throw to first, pull the foul off the bag. He had to leap to pull it down. Garcia came on home. Powell's throw to the plate, not in time to hit the sliding Garcia. The Brewers lead 6-1. And here to Ed Crosby, the shortstop. 5 runs over here in the 6th inning. And that'll bring up Bob Coluccio, the 9th man to bat in this frame. First error of the game logged against the Indians. Garcia turned that corner at third. He looked like he was coming down the home stretch, and he was. 6-1. Yeah, taking a lead at first. Coluccio waits. Throw to first base. Robert is back safely. 6-1 Brewers. As Bosman works to Coluccio. Bobby takes a breaking ball for a strike down on the knees. No balls at a strike. Brick, who started the inning with a home run, will be up next if Coluccio keeps it going. Bosman glances over the shoulder at first at Yount. There goes Robin. Here's a pitch. Swung on, foul down. 2 strikes to count to Coluccio. Well, maybe he didn't foul it down. Yount is staying on second. The ball was dropped by Ellis. Oh, long of a stolen base. 2 strikes to Coluccio. 2 stolen bases in the inning then. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and it's low for a ball. 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. The Brewers 6, the Indians 1. Last half of the 6th inning. Still out crowd at County Stadium. Here comes a 1-2 delivery. Side wheel him, a bouncing ball hit to the mound. Grabbed by Bosman, throws to first base to get Bobby, and that's it. But the Brewers come up with 5 big runs. We had 4 hits, 1 Cleveland here, and 1 man left on. At the end of 6 now, the score of Milwaukee 6, Cleveland 1.
You know what that was? Not just a beer can popping open. Oh, no, my friend. That was the sound of gusto. The sound of an ice-cold Schlitz. One taste, and you'll know they brew Schlitz to be the best. And why not? Hey, life's too short to settle for less. Go for the gusto. Or don't go at all. Go for the gusto, or don't go at all.
Start your day with the morning sun. It starts your day like the sun. The earth is spinning, the body's set. Get up with the world, that's what it's done. The news, the scores, what's everywhere. A new day starting everywhere. So start your day with the morning sun. The morning Milwaukee Brewers.
Here are the 6 inning totals. The Brewers 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. The Indians 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error. Billy Champion is all set to go down the top of the 7th. This big crowd, after an exciting 6th inning, which saw the Brewers score 5 runs, settles back now to see if Billy Champion, with his 5-run lead, can close it out over the last 3. Here's Bob. All right, Merle, thank you very much. Hey, that's the way to go. 6-1 lead. Great inning.
And the seal of Scott gets the first, RBI under his belt. All right, Buddy Bell, the Cleveland third baseman, will lead it off against right-hander Billy Champion. Come on, Champ, right here. Nail it down. Strike and a fastball and a beauty. 0-1 to Buddy Bell, the Cleveland third baseman. I got a nice letter here today from Ron Barmash. Runs a local distillery. Thanks for the jug, Ron. Here's the 0-1 to Bell. Swinging a chopper foul. He tried to check his swing and couldn't. 6-1, Brewers lead. Does that mean I don't get any more of those 3:30 calls? You're going to stay in your room? Turn into a closet drinker. 2 strikes to Bell to pitch. High changeup. 1-2. Yeah, you just come to my room for now and make sure that closet door is shut and don't let me out. Right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bell waiting. Champion delivers, and Bell hits a fly ball. Right center field. Lascano calling. Look out. Paluccio is there, and Bobby calls him off, and he has it 1 down. Brings up the second baseman, Jack Brohammer. Brohammer is grounded out and flied out. Here's the windup by Champ, and the pitch to Brohammer's a strike and a beauty at the knees. Detroit 5-3 over New York in the 7th inning. Colbert with a 3-run homer for Detroit in the 6th. The pitch. Brohammer lifts a little fly ball, not deep, left center field. Paluccio to his right, coming in a few steps. He's there. He's got it. 2 down. Boston held a 4-2 lead until the bottom half of the 6th inning. But the Baltimore Orioles have now come back to take a 5-4 lead. Tony Conigliaro hit his first home run in that ball game for the Red Sox in the 5th inning with nobody out. Montreal and the Cubs are still tied at 1 in the 8th inning. Ed Crosby, the shortstop, swings and lines one. Backhanded by Scott. He dropped the ball. Garcia got it. Oh, got it. And he dropped the ball. What a play that time by Scott to knock that ball down. It rolled to the edge of the outfield grass. Garcia recovered, and with Champion covering, they had Crosby, but Champion dropped the throw. Tough play because they had him. Let's see how they scored. The outside went up, and so Champion dropped the ball. They might score this an error. I don't know. 3 people handle that ball. Here's Oscar Gamble, the leadoff batter. We'll wait for the scoring on Ed Crosby. It was a tough chance for Scott. He tried to backhand the ball, diving, and he knocked it down. Here's the pitch to Gamble. Strike and a bullet. Good heater on the inside corner for Champion. It's 0-1.
The game continues at the beginning of side 4 after a short delay.
Strike and a bullet. Good heater on the inside corner from Champion. It's 0-1. They've scored a base hit. Well, it was a tough chance for Scott. Here's the pitch to Gamble. He swings and grounds one, backhanded by the Boomer. Tips on the bag, and the strike is out. Scott backhanded and tips on the bag to retire Gamble, and the Indians in the 7th. They get nothing on 1 hit. No errors, and there was 1 left. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's 6-1, Milwaukee. Go for the gusto. Go for the fair. Oh, you know life's too short to settle for less. Hi, I'm Billy Crabtrap, and let me tell you, just one taste of Schlitz beer, and you'll know they brew Schlitz with great. The taste of the best. Go for the gusto.
Too busy to remember to save some money, everyone. You'll be happy to learn about a new service from First Federal called Transmatic. It's the easy way to save systematically every month. Simply decide the amount you like to set aside, and First Federal will automatically transfer it from your bank checking account to your First Federal Savings Account. Join the family of savers at First Federal Savings of Wisconsin. You'll automatically save time, travel, and postage every month.
All right, the bottom half of the seventh inning. Let's see if we can get a few more here off Dick Bosman. 6-1 Brewer lead. Here's Johnny Briggs, and he led off the sixth inning with a home run, his first of the year. Gave the Brewers a 2-1 lead. They went on to score 4 more times. Briggs, Aaron, and Scott here in the seventh. Bosman winds and delivers. Strike on a fastball. Sinker around the knees to Briggs. 0-1 to Johnny B. 2 out of 3 today. He had a single in the third and homered in the sixth. The pitch. Outside fastball. 1-1. Tomorrow, Slayton goes against Fritz Peterson. And then on Sunday, it'll be Pete Grover against Gaylord Terry. Bosman winds. Briggs looks outside, 2-1. It's 2 balls and a strike to Johnny Briggs. Henry Aaron had his first base hit of the season back in the sixth. He is due next. He had a base hit and scored. 2-1 to Johnny Briggs. Bosman winds and delivers. Outside, 3-1, sinking fastball. Start it off again, Briggs. Right here. Get a bunch. Ellis sets the sign. Briggs swings and fouls it away back to the screen. It's a full count now to Briggs. 6 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Brewers. Billy Champion has given up a run on only 3 hits. Briggs waiting for a payoff pitch. The arm back, here it is. A swing and a ground ball right back to the mound. Bosman's got it. Easy play to throw him to foul. And they get Johnny Briggs. There's one down. Here's Henry. Another break hand for Henry. He lined a shot his last time up that Buddy Bell couldn't handle it. Knocked him down. His last time up, it looked like Aaron started to time Jim Terry very well. See what he does here against Bosman. The windup, here's the pitch to Henry. Inside breaking ball, and he got the corner. Sidearm curveball that time from Bosman. He had Henry backing out of there, and the ball nipped the inside corner. Bosman winds, here's the pitch to Hank. Ground ball headed towards shortstop. He hit it off the end of the bat. Crosby's got it to throw on the first, and there's 2 down. Henry hit that curveball right off the end of the bat. Brings up George Scott, the first baseman. Scott has been up 3 times. Nothing yet. He has struck out and grounded out twice. Bosman is ready. Here's the first pitch to the boomer. Low in the dirt, knocked down by Ellis. And he knocked that one down with his neat hand. You know, the catcher's chest protector has that extra piece of protective equipment on the left shoulder, protects you from the foul tip. But the right shoulder is wide open because it would hinder your throwing. You really couldn't get any throwing done if you had that big pad on the left side, on the right side of your chest protector. And Ellis looked like he took a shot right there. Here's the 1-0 to Scott. Check swing foul back to the screen. It's 1-1 to George Scott. There's 2 men out in the Brewers' 7th, and they lead Cleveland by a score of 6-1. Dick Bosman on in relief from Jim Terry. He winds, and here's the pitch to Scott. A swing and a fly ball, not deep right center field. Charlie Spike's coming in. He's there, he has it, and the side retires. 3 up, 3 down. Easy inning for Dick Bosman here in the 7th. He's completed 7 full innings of play. It's still Milwaukee 6, Cleveland 1. Go for the get-go. Go for the best. 'Cause you know life is short to settle for less. You gotta take that.
just a Billy Crab crowd. And let me tell you, those Schlitz folks know how to brew beer. That's because every barrel, every bottle, and every can's brewed with gusto to taste the best. You gotta taste that great with gusto, and then you got it all. Don't go, but don't go at all.
For the Cleveland Indians, 1 run, 3 hits in an error. For the Milwaukee Brewers, 6 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors, and champion is still on. Well, we got another our initial box of cheese from the gang up in Teresa, I believe. Brewer Brewsters from Teresa. Doesn't care a Bear Randall or Bear Bandle. I believe it's Bear Randall. Nice package of cheese again. So, yeah, we're sending thanks along, and the fine case of bad breath from the Wisconsin brick cheese. Super. Here's the ace. Here's Merle. Thank you, Bob. And Frank Robinson leads off, takes a strike from champion over the outside corner. Robinson has flied to center twice and walked the other time. Well, it's been a fun day at County Stadium. Come on, Billy. Close her out. Here's the windup of the 0-1 delivery to Robinson. Down low for the ball. It's 1-1. Stay tuned to the Bob Bucher bullpen show after the ball game. Always get hung up on that one word. Here comes the 1-1 delivery. Off-speed stuff is hammered foul on the third base side to make it 1-2. You know, talking about their speed, Merle, great Wisconsin brick cheese, which I love. My old man, my first year in organized baseball, my old man came to see me play out in Idaho, and he brought a bunch of that brick cheese and Limburger cheese with him. He had it in his suitcase along with his clothes. You talk about a real unpopular guy in Idaho. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Low and outside. Ball to his strike. I couldn't stand it myself. I'm telling you. Woo. But you lost every argument with the umpire after that, too. Woo. Nobody on or out of the Cleveland 8th inning. The Brewers are ahead 6-1 behind Billy Champion 3-hit pitching. He throws high and tight to Robinson. And the string is out to the Cleveland manager. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Indians got their run in the fourth. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's popped up on the infield. Near the mound. Who's going to take it? George Scott calling along with Money. Look out. It's Scott. Robinson has popped to George Scott. 1 away in the 8th inning. Now George Hendricks, the center fielder, who is 0 for 3. Hey, we've got a big gang from UW Whitewater up here in the upper deck behind third base. Those college gangs will be pouring in here over the weekend, I'm sure of that. Those brew crews from Whitewater and Sheboygan and Eau Claire, La Crosse. Here's the first pitch to Hendricks. High fly ball to right center. Coluccio has this one under observation and pulls it down. Just like that. Charlie Spikes will be next. Spikes has walked, singled, and scored and grounded out. Like to compliment the grounds crew and getting this field ready after the big snowstorm of a week ago. And all the stadium personnel for making things so nice here for 50,000 plus fans today. A wind-up by Champion. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. And all you taxpayers, all of us, really got a project here to be proud of. 1 ball and 0 strikes, the pitch. Strike to the inside corner, a fastball. 1-1 to count. I don't know of any stadium in the country that's better to watch a baseball game from than this one. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. On the way. Swinging a high fly ball to short left. Yout is back and Briggs is in, and Robin is calling. He's got it. 1, 2, 3 in the 8th inning to the Indians. With nothing across, the score after 7.5. The Brewers 6, the Indians 1. You know, gardens come in many different sizes, and so do garden tools. Using the wrong size tool can make garden chores a lot more work and could cause damage to delicate plants. Your nearby True Value hardware store is the place to find the right size tool for your garden. For instance, True Value hardware stores have True Temper floral tools. They're smaller in size, so they're perfect for light work, for working in tight places, and for working around delicate plants in average-sized gardens.
And they're light in weight, so they're easier to handle in raised flower or vegetable beds or small terrace gardens. Now, you can choose an 8-tooth rake, a 3-prong cultivator, a floral hoe, or a floral shovel. All have strong steel heads, a handsome copper bronze finish, and smooth, long-reach wood handles. True Temper floral tools make gardening chores a lot easier. They're just a part of the wide selection of True Temper lawn and garden tools that you'll find at participating True Value hardware stores near your home.
In the bottom of the 8th inning, the Brewers will send Don Money, Darrell Porter, and Sixto Lezcano to the plate. The Pirates beat the Mets 4-3. The Cubs beat Montreal 2-1. Bob will have a summary of those games on the Bullpen Show. All the other action today in both leagues. Don Money has flied to left, grounded out, and flied to center. Bosman starts it out with a fastball, and he pops it up out near second, and Bohammer is under it and takes it for the out. Hit right on the fifth. Darrell Porter, a single, a ground out, and a walk and a run scored. Left-handed batting catches. Charles giving him a bit of Boomer Sooner. All you Oklahomans will recognize that. First pitch to Darrell. Bouncing ball down the first foul. Strike one. Tomorrow, a 1:30 ball game, Kids Day and Senior Citizens Day. Jimmy Slayton will go against Fritz Peterson. And on Sunday, Pete Broberg, who beat the Red Sox in that second game of the series in Boston, faces Gaylord Perry. Next pitch to Darrell, fly ball to right center, not deep. George Hendrick is under it and takes it for the out there, 2 down. Now Lezcano. Gaylord Perry won the opener for the Indians against New York. So it's Broberg and Perry on Sunday. Cap day for the kids, 14 under. Sixto Lezcano knocked out a run with a single in the 6th inning, and it's 1 out of 3. Also stole a base and scored a run before that inning was over. First pitch to him, breaking stuff outside. 1 ball, no strikes. We do not have the attendance figures as yet, but they should be coming up shortly. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ball inside. 2-0 to count. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 3 hits for the Indians. 2-0 delivery. Bouncing ball hits the third, 2 outs to Bell. On to first base to Powell, and the Brewers are up and out in order, and Dick Bosman has cut the Brewers down 1-2-3 in the last 2 innings. At the end of 8 complete now, the score, Milwaukee 6, Cleveland 1.
Sometimes you can really let a good thing fool you, like the mild and meaty flavor of Oscar Mayer pork sausage for breakfast. That sizzling good taste is so good to wake up to in the morning, you might forget you can enjoy Oscar Mayer pork sausage all day. Maybe simmered in beer, or with a slab of your favorite cheese melted on top, or cooked over the grill to really wake up a lazy summer day and make you the hero of the backyard barbecue. And Oscar Mayer brings you a variety of ways to enjoy their pork sausage any time of day. Regular lengths or rolled pork sausage. They're all made the special way that's made Oscar Mayer a family tradition through the years. Because Oscar Mayer uses only the finest quality meat, carefully spiced and always fresh. So, no matter how you fix them or when, they're always a good reason to be hungry. Because it's never too late for Oscar Mayer pork sausage.
The 9th inning comes on at County Stadium with the Brewers ahead by 5. And Billy Champion, who has given up a 3 hits, will be going against John Powell, better known as Bill Powell. Then John Ellis, better known as John Ellis. And then Buddy Bell. Wood is hit into an old play, has walked and fouled out. Left-handed batting, Boog Powell. Champion into the windup. Down comes the pitch.
Outside low with a fastball. 1-0. Last year on opening day, the Brewers had 32,761. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big shot. The Brewers' attendance high was set last year on June 9th. They drew 46,812 against Oakland on Jacket Day. Complete sellout. The Braves record, 48,642 in a regular season game. There's a shot on the ground, backhanded by Garcia. Up to the ball, throwing to first base, 1 out. Crystal P is still up with the gym. Garcia going to his right. Snapped that ball and threw foul out at first, and here's John Ellis. Ellis has grounded out twice and flied to center. First pitch to him is high outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 down, nobody on. Ninth inning to the Indians. First of 3 games this weekend. Here's the next pitch. Drive to right center field, and it's going to be in for a base hit. Cut off by Coluccio, and he's going to hold Ellis to a single. Looks like the ball might go all the way through. Hit number 4 for the Indians brings up Buddy Bell. Bell, a right-handed batter. One out and nobody on. Champion working off the strike with a runner at first. In comes the pitch. Strike 1 call, the breaking stuff. Up fell high and it's 0-1. No balls to strike to Bell. The Brewers ahead by 5. Here's the next pitch. Low and inside. Ball 1 and strike 1. The run which Cleveland scored in the 4th inning was unearned. Here's the next pitch. Swinging a fly ball to left field. Johnny Briggs starts back out, cruises in easily, and takes it for out number 2. 1 more to go now for Philly champion, and he faces Jack Brohammer, the second baseman, who is grounded out, slide to left, and slide to center. Two down and nobody on in the 9th. Here's the check at first, a pitch to Brohammer. Strike 1 call, a fastball in her eye. No balls to strike. No Brewer pitcher won a full 9 in spring training. Del Crandall believes that that's not the most important thing in the world out there. He feels if a guy goes 70 during spring training, can go 9 his first time out when the regular season gets underway. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball headed for right field, and it is cut off by Garcia. Throws back to first. He is thrown. Shot at the dive to go off the bag to field it. Pete Garcia almost pulled off the give it away fielding wise. He was back in front right field. He was spinning as he threw to first, and Scott made a desperate effort to keep that foot on the bag as he had to dive for the ball, but he couldn't do it. And it'll be a base hit. Here's Ed Crosby. Runners at first and second. Brohammer with an infield hit at first. John Ellis is down at second, and Crosby, a left-handed batting shortstop, is up 1 out of 3. Here's the pitch from Champion. Curve, and he got over a call strike 1. Well, today's paid attendance is not going to be a record for a regular season game. 48,610 is the paid attendance today. Previous record of a regular season game, 48,642 for the Braves. Well, we'll beat that before the year's over. There's a drive in the right field, down the line, it's going to be a base hit into the corner. Lozano cutting it off. One run is in as Ellis has scored. Brohammer is going to third. It's a double for Crosby. 3 hits in the inning. The second run is home for Cleveland, and it's 6-2 Brewers. Ed Crosby getting an RBI single. That'll bring up Oscar Gamble. Gamble is 1 for 4 today. Del Crandall is on his way to the mound. Got him out of it here with a fantastic play. But his fullback to first, full shot off the bag. Gets into the hand now for Champion. And guess who's coming in? Running into the bullpen. Murph the third. For Tom Murphy, this will be his second appearance of the year. He pitched in the second ball game in Boston in relief of Pete Rover, so Tom Murphy makes his second relief appearance of the season here today. In relief of Billy Champion, who pitched the beauty. Champion allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. Only one of the runs was earned as he leaves here with 2 and out in the 9th inning. Tom Murphy last year for Milwaukee pitched in 70 ball games. He won 10 while losing 10. Had an earned run average of 1.90. He was outstanding last year for Milwaukee. 123 innings pitched for Murphy. He gave up 97 hits, 27 runs, 26 were earned. He walked 51 while striking out 47. And he'll try to nail it down here for Champion in the 9th inning with 2 men out. 6 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for Milwaukee. 6 hits and an error for the Cleveland Indians. And we had our first test. Jack Moran's got him in shape. You know, you think after a winter, these guys, their first start on the field, you look a little muscle or something, but Jack Moran worked them out in the tunnel underneath the stadium here. One of the fans came out of the center field bleachers and had a handshake with Johnny Briggs and then set sail for left center field, where the crew in left center field was waiting to grab him and hoist him over the railing out there, but the ground crew prevailed again. They got him. Man, that's an expensive thing. Cost him a half a yard, maybe a night in the tank, but he'll be back tomorrow. All right, Murphy. Wait, here's Murphy. Okay, Merle. Sorry about that, Bob. Murphy all set to go now at the bottom of the 9th inning, or top of the 9th inning, rather. Brohammer on third. Crosby down at second with the 2 baggers. And Gamble is up there. The Brewers lead 6-2 in the 9th, and Gamble steps away. A hot dog wrapper blows out in front of the plate, and Art France goes out to handle it. $48,160 is the paid attendance this afternoon. Murphy going to the belt. In comes the pitch. Ball low inside, blocked by Porter. 1 ball and no strikes. Now the target set by Porter, and Murphy throws low for ball 2. The sinking fastball, 2-0. Well, I don't think there's any doubt the Brewers are going to pop that 50,000 mark in attendance this year with the kind of excitement, entertainment that this young ball club can provide. The ground screw is 2 out of 2. Two balls, no strikes to count for Oscar Gamble. See Johnny Schaller here from Rochester, Minnesota today. Public address announcer here for all the previous years. The Brewers have been here. now manages the radio station in Rochester, and Sean Grabowski has succeeded him as the PA announcer. 2 balls and no strikes. Murphy all set at the belt. In comes the pitch. Strike one. Fastball at the belt. 2-1 the count. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Brewers. 2 runs and 6 hits for the Indians. Murphy trying to close it out for Champion, delivers. Ball 3. Sinker down low. LaRon Lee has come to the on-deck circle. Presumably the bat for Frank Robinson. Dip. Gamble gets aboard. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Strike 2. Ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. Here's the payoff pitch. Fly ball in the infield. It's a good. Getting into the John Money.